last video, I tried to just give a face value of the aspects of the game that I've came across during my short playthrough, but in this one I'm going to try to go in more in depth of all the aspects of the game by also keeping it short and simple. When you pick up a quest, you always want to make sure to have the right items before departing on a quest, so the essential items I found to always take with you is mega potions, your stake for your stamina, sharpening stone for your weapon so you can sharpen your weapon, and mega pickaxes and mega bug nets. And to make those things, you just press start and go into combo list, go over here and you make them with the ingredients you find while questing. When you pick up all these items, you can actually make the things. And depending on the quest, you also might want to bring paintballs as well. That way you can paintball the boss when it tries to run away, or you die to it, and you can keep track of it where it's at on the map. Or you can wave at an airship that's up in the sky. If you ever notice that thing that follows you around up in the sky, you can actually press start and use gestures and wave at the airship, and it'll briefly show where on the map the boss is. And if it's a capture quest, you want to go over to your vendor and buy a trap, and then you can craft either a pitfall trap or a shock trap and then hit it with some paralyzing bombs. But you only want to set the trap after the monster starts limping. So after the monster starts limping, you want to trap it and hit it with until it becomes captured. Armor crafting. You can actually craft a full set of armor and a weapon based off of a certain boss. So that gets into grinding for bosses. That way you can jump into multiplayer and then grind one boss over and over until you can actually craft its whole armor set and weapon. Once you have a optimal armor set, you actually want to come in decorations and forge jewels to go into the empty slots of the armor that you made. As you can see, there's an empty slot for that. You can just throw in your charm and then you have a set, and then also you can upgrade your equipment, which you want to come over here and make sure that you've upgraded all your equipment so you're using your equipment to maximum. And that was just a couple things I felt like I needed to go in more in depth on. Some crucial things for people getting started in the launch of 100 Generations Ultimate. But also I want to say that when you start off the game and questing, a good chunk of the beginning of the game is going to be doing a lot of fetch quest and killing smaller monsters. What you think are going to be monsters in this game, playing for the first 20 to 30 hours, you're not going to be really anything. You're going to go against raptors and stuff like that. But about 45 to 50 hours into the game, you're going to start going against actual dragons and things that you will definitely know why there is a multiplayer to this game, that you don't want to go by yourself, at least for the first time. But as long as you're upgrading your armor and you're upgrading your weapons and you're making sure you're checking to see if you can make proper armor, you should be alright. And going out with plenty of health potions, you should be okay. Well, also learning your style. But there's also a lot of things like the combo list, which I cannot go through every single thing to make, because there's a lot of really useful things in this combo list, but you're just going to have to experiment with the stuff you find to be able to create things in the combo list, or use Google, which is unfortunate because they don't explain a lot of it. But that's part of the cool thing about it, is that you don't know what the combinations you're going to make until you have the options to be able to make the items inside the combo list. But there's some really good stuff in here, and very mandatory things. And it's also worth mentioning, going a little bit more in depth on the styles, because last time I just kind of went through it. But in Alchemy Style, you actually get a barrel that comes with you, so it's not just a style, you also get an extra item that stays with you. Yeah, with Alchemy Style you start off with this barrel item that stays with you, and as you can see, it's casually growing up and filling up, but it can be fill up all the way to 5 times, and you just press the Y button and you start shaking the barrel, and depending on the number it's at, make more and more powerful items. They're exclusive for Alchemy, so you make all the essential items. And if you go all the way up to 5, you're able to do very powerful things. Like one of them is makes the barrel explode and healing your whole party and cleansing your whole party. And yeah, so it makes really useful things. And also with Alchemy, you're able to make every single one of your arts SP arts, which is just hitting the R button and you make it SP art. And what that means is that the art will charge. It'll take about 1.5 times to 2 times longer to charge that art before you can use it, but it gives your team a style specific buff across the whole party whenever you use that art with SP. So it's a trade-off, so it takes longer to charge, but it gives you party a really good buff. And as I already went over, Guild is a very good style because it has all the combos. It doesn't limit you from any of the main combos for that weapon, but you only get 2 arts instead of 3. Striker takes away some bread and butter moves for a weapon, but gives you the ability to have 3 arts. So some weapons that have really good arts, you might want to go Striker. Aerial is really good for if you like that kind of gameplay. Depth is very good because it does take away some bread and butter moves, but it will replace it with you countering their moves very precisely and doing a counterattack. And Valor has to do with sheathing your weapon, and you can hold Y to sheath your weapon with Valor, and while you're in that stance of sheathing your weapon, you have a blue aura around you and you're able to counter any attack while you're in that stance. And also you get a Valor gauge, so you're able to enter a Valor state as well. So it's like a whole fighting system different from Adept, even though the principle's kind of the same. And while you're in the game, you always want to press X after you complete quests to make sure there is no yellow or red text bubbles above one of the towns. If so, then just go to that place and then go talk to them, because they probably have some item for you for after. So I just got that. The tickets are used to make armor and weapons, and so you always want to check. Believe me, you're not going to miss much if you're skipping through the text dialogue. Just run over to the text dialogue and then just mash A. That's at least what I do, because there's way too much to this game. And like that, he'll add a quest to your thing. So you make sure you have no text bubbles above any of the towns, and then you just go talk to the person and then start doing some quests. And when you get out of the quest, check if there's any more text bubbles, collect your items and rewards, and get their new quest from them. Rinse and repeat, and you'll eventually get to one of the quests where you have to go against a giant dragon, and you find out by going over to the armor smith that you just unlocked some really nice armor and weapon from just fighting that one boss, but you lack the amount of parts from that boss to be able to make that armor, at least all the pieces of armor from that boss. So you want to go and try to kill that monster again. Rinse and repeat. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that was just a couple things I wanted to clear up and get more in depth on that I feel didn't cover on the first video. I hope everybody is also enjoying this game as much as I am, because I am addicted.